Good afternoon, welcome back to the workbench. Welcome back to this USB charger thing, which I had a broken USB port on and which I'm about to repair with a new one. I bought 5 of them from AliExpress. It was only like $2.50 or something. Unfortunately, not about this, but unfortunately I realised this thing is, it does Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0, as you can see on the label. It's a bit blurry, but you can still see it. Unfortunately, that's not actually what I need. I didn't realize there were 2 different protocols, apparently. There's Qualcomm Quick Charge, and there's also USB power delivery, which I kind of thought was interchangeable and stuff, but apparently it's not. That's why I was kind of surprised that this had a USB-A jack. I was kind of wondering, like, how do they do the charge control? Apparently that's only in USB 3, so yeah, this works differently, I guess. So this charger won't work for what I wanted, but it doesn't matter, I'll still fix it anyway. It's probably useful for something that uses this protocol, so yeah, it's still worth fixing, I guess. So yeah, I also I bought this thing. This little board here, which is designed to communicate with these and trigger the different voltages. So apparently this works with both quick charge and power delivery, so this should work for anything. It goes up to 20 volts, I believe. It does, 5, 9, 12, 15 and 20, so I think this kind of can be used on anything, apparently. So we'll test that out, so we can use this hopefully to test that this thing's actually capable of delivering the higher voltages of 9 and 12 that it says it can do, apparently, so that'll be good. I had to get that. I don't know if there's an open source design of this or not, or if this is just like a random Chinese thing, but again, I was like $3 or something, so I was like, yeah, why not? And then I also bought this little sort of tool set thing. I don't exactly know what it's supposed to be. It's some kind of thing, claims to be soldering. I don't know, I think this is all Japanese. I haven't translated it. It'll be interesting to see. It seems to be some sort of, there is a bit of English there, this concept of like using it for thanks camera. Anyway, yeah, it's a bit interesting. I don't know exactly how you're supposed to use these, but this one does have a little hook on it. You can see there, it's got a little sort of hook. Quite a hooky hook. There's some other different things around, and I thought that might be quite useful for this other charger where I've got the however that came off. So the contacts inside here, if you saw the other video, one of the contacts in here is slightly bent down, so maybe I can use one of those hooks to pull it back out and get it to work. That would be useful, but hey, that's what we'll do. But this one is a more important one, I think, because it's more useful. It has the different voltages and the stuff. So what I'm going to do is replace this port, and we shall give it a test and see if it actually works. I know it can output 5 volts because I tested that in the previous video, but I don't know if the other voltages work. Anyway, so if I'm going to pull this thing apart again, again, not worth, I guess, doing too much with this, because again all the ICs have had all their numbers rubbed off, so repairing this further than just a bad caps or a bad USB port is not really feasible, I suppose. I have no idea what that chip is. I can kind of still see a logo on it, so it's definitely like a branded one, but yeah, kind of annoying. But there we go. So that's the old broken port that had the bits in the middle missing, and that's no good, so we'll throw that away and put one of these in. If I can actually get the bag open. Alright, and the bag has a hole in it, and I got 2 of them. Okay, that's interesting. We can figure that out later. Okay, so is this one good? Yep, that all looks correct. As you can see, the pins and the mounting all match up pretty much perfectly with this. There's a slight difference in the shape of the shield. This one's got a larger sort of tab with its bits folded over, but other than that, they look practically identical, honestly. So yeah, that should work, and I've already cleared out the holes on this, so it should be very easy to just fit the new one in. Just pop it in there like that, and then solder it in. So nothing particularly complicated about that. The only thing I would imagine is just to pay attention to these tiny little pins here. They are pretty small. There's a whole bunch of flux residue that I will clean off later, but yeah, it's definitely don't want too much solder for those, and probably a good idea to maybe use some really thin solder if you've got it. I mean, this one here is 0.7 mil, but I've got like 0.4 and 0.3 and stuff that I might use for those other pins, potentially. But first of all, I'll solder in one of the mounting tabs. I'll go for this one over here. Solder in one of the mounting tabs, and then I'm going to make sure this is flush with the board, so I'll push down on it while I reheat that. And yeah, that looks good. It looks all flush and everything and properly aligned, so it's a nice right angle with the board, mostly. Yeah, that looks good. So yeah, you want to make sure those things all fit. Nothing worse than soldering a connector on and then finding out that it's misaligned and doesn't fit the hole in the case or some other thing like that. But yeah, that should be okay. And I think if I put this in here as a test, we can see. If I fit that there, I'll just do a test fit with it, and we'll see. Yep, that all lines up pretty much fine. And if you want to be absolutely sure, we can test to see if something will actually plug into it, which it does. Sorry, my camera is lagging. I think it's because my disk is almost full. I've bought a new 4TB hard drive to put in this computer for videos, but I just haven't put it in yet, so I need to do that soon. Yeah, so that's all aligned properly, so I'll continue soldering that in. You know, the data pins are the tricky part, so I would not do those straight away before I check the alignment, but it looks good, so now I just got to try and do these without shorting them together, which might be the fun part anyway. Be very careful with that I don't put too much solder on it. That's okay, it's shorted to there because that's the ground pin anyway, so that's fine. And that's obviously the positive output, that one on that end. And then we just got to do the two data lines, which are important, because without those we won't get the thing. I don't know, I might let's see. Yep, I think that works. And I have shorted the two pins together, so I'll just have to quickly take that off. I might actually put a little bit more and then just suck it off with wick. It's probably the easiest way to do that, actually. Again, kind of a bit of a pain, and would be better if I had thinner solder, which I do, but I just couldn't be bothered to get it, so I'm just going to do it this way. Alright, let's see. Okay, now there's not enough on there. Maybe I'll try the other solder. Yeah, I got this stuff here. This is ancient, but it's like 0.45 millimeters, so yeah. It's a lot thinner, as you can see. Well, kind of hard to tell in that picture, but yeah. It's thinner and better for stuff like this. This should work. Yep, there we go. All looks good. Kind of hard to tell because we've got a lot of flux there. It actually kind of looks like those are bridged, but they're not. It's just flux residue shining in the light. So yeah, once I clean that up, you can see that it'll be fine. But anyway, so I guess we can test it now. Let's see. So I'll hook it up to this thing. And hopefully try to get the different voltages out of it. Meanwhile, I'll stick it back in its box, obviously. So I will have to try and repair that screw standoff that I broke accidentally. It's kind of annoying, but I didn't realise they hid that in a very strange way. But there we go. So I can pop that on. And again, if I plug this in 5 volts, so it's got 5 volts normally. This tester only does 5 volts, so I can't use that with this thing, but there we go. So it's running, we get 5 volts out of it, that all makes sense. Now we just got to test to see if it can actually do more than that. So I'll just be right back after I wire this thing up and hook it up to my load tester, and then we can actually see if it can output those voltages, and also find out if this thing actually supports quick charge too, like it says it does. It says it can do both, I think. If you look at the label there, it claims it can do, yeah, PD/QC decoy board, so it claims to do both. Alright, so let's see if this thing works. I got this thing connected up to this load here, and we can plug it all in and see what happens. See if it all explodes in a giant sheet of flame. Hopefully that doesn't happen, that would be a bit annoying. But it's entirely possible, I suppose. Anyway, let's see. So we plug this back in, and I'll turn that on. We've got nothing there, obviously. If I plug this into here, and if I plug this into here, we should probably get 5 volts on there, just initially, which we do. Okay, we've got a blue light on the 5 volt position, and we have 5 volts on here. Now I can do a load test, of course, on this. Not sure if you can see that very well, but that's 0 amps. What does this thing say? It says it can do 3 amps at 5 volts. So if I wind this up a little bit, that's interesting. Confused that thing and it shot up to 9 volts. That's interesting. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, this probably can't handle super high current, but yeah, we got like 1.7 amps. It's dropped a little bit, probably because of these wires and everything, but that's okay. Yeah, it obviously works alright. Let's press this button, which should give us a higher voltage. It does not, but I suspect that's because now it's trying to do it in USB power delivery mode, which is obviously not in. So let's try 12, no, 15, 20, go back to 5. Okay, that doesn't work. It's interesting how it did kind of briefly work when I turned this up. Maybe it's based on current draw? No, that would be silly. At 3 amps, we're only getting 4.5 volts, but that's probably because these cables are rubbish. Okay. So this thing is not detecting it. That's weird. If I plug this the other way, I don't think that should make a difference, but let's just try it anyway for a laugh. Nope, it doesn't do anything. I did see that jump up to like 8 point something volts though. Okay, maybe I need to reconfigure this. Or maybe this thing is just a joke and it only works on USB power delivery. I don't know. It might not do quick charge at all. You never know with these kind of dodgy things from AliExpress. Maybe if I hold the button down or something, it'll do something else. No, it doesn't seem to work. Well, that's typical. Cheap stuff from AliExpress doesn't work. How surprising. I imagine this is not the problem. It's most likely this thing. Okay, it could be this is the problem. Or maybe it doesn't like this cable. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how all this is supposed to work, you see. I haven't looked at the protocol enough to find out how it all functions. My guess is that this thing just doesn't actually support quick charge. And that it's just lying. Alright. Well, that's mildly annoying, but anyway, while I confuse myself with that, I could attempt to do something with this one. Try to get this contact back in the right place. Yeah, potentially. I wonder if this thing can even fit in there. It does look pretty thin. Looks like it might work. I don't know. I have to open this thing up, I guess, to figure out which way round it's supposed to go. Yeah, okay. I think it's one on the left that's squashed down a bit. Which way around does this go again? That way. It was the neutral connection that was bad, I think. Which would be... yeah, no, I don't know. Could be that one. That's the one that looks like it's bent over. I think there's like a little ridge inside there that it's supposed to fit over, to keep it like at the right height, and it's like bent down too far to be able to go over that, which I think is why it didn't work. But yeah, this is kind of annoying. This is hard to work with. I'm afraid I might just end up breaking the contact off by bending it too much, but I don't know that there's much else I can try. That might be okay. Yeah, that's almost in there. Yeah, that looks about right, although it may not be high enough to actually make contact with the thing. Try it there. It looks a bit better, but I believe the issue was that these internal contacts weren't making contact with this, was it? That was the main issue. Yeah. Well, this little hooky thing is quite good. It didn't bend or break or anything, so it seems okay-ish. Let's see if that fits on there now. Let's give it a test. Let's just see what happens. So we should be able to plug that in there. Let's see if it does anything. Ah, look at that. We get 5 volts. I can't really show this very well on the camera, at least not upright, but yeah, that works now. Well, now it doesn't work. I don't know, it just went off. Huh, that's annoying. Let's try it again. Well, yeah, it kind of works. I think the connection isn't perfect, but if I just pull that contact out a little bit more, it might actually be good. Possibly. I don't know. I suppose I could do a load test on it as well. Let's see, does this thing work? Something seems to be funny there. Is it working? No, it's not working. Yeah. I don't know. This one still works, right? Yep, that one still works, so it's not the thing, is it? It's this silly thing doesn't work. Anyway, we know what's wrong with that. I can fiddle around with that, I guess, some more and maybe get this thing to bend into the right place and actually function, but regardless of that, yeah, I still need to figure out why this doesn't work, and maybe I bought the wrong one, and maybe this thing is lying and it doesn't support quick charge protocol whatsoever. But anyway, the whole point is that this doesn't actually support the thing I wanted to charge with it, so yeah, the whole thing is kind of a fail. Well, not a fail. I've put a new port in this thing and now it seems to work, so there's that. If nothing else, it's a 5V 3A charger, I guess, that can be useful for something. But yeah, I suspect that the other voltages will work. I just need to get the correct thing. Possibly this one is not the correct thing. I shall have to look into it some more. There were some instructions on the seller page about how to operate it, so I'll have to look into that and see if I have just configured it wrong or something. For now, that might be it. I'll come back when I actually figure it out. Alright, so I've had a look into this thing, and the chip it uses is a... what is it? CH224K. That's what does the handling of the data to change the voltages. And I think that microcontroller there is just doing the LEDs and using the button to send different levels to the CH224. But if I look up here, if I can find where my mouse cursor went, yeah, let's have a look. I got this here, so this is the chip, and unfortunately, you know, it says it supports fast charge protocols such as Power Delivery 3 and 2 and BC 1.2. I don't know what that is, that's probably another thing, but it doesn't mention quick charge at all. I might have to have a look at how this functions. And anyway, it doesn't actually mention quick charge at all, as far as I can tell, so I'm getting the opinion that this chip does not actually support what this charger can do. So yeah, probably I would need to get a different chip, different board to actually be able to test this thing correctly. I don't think this board actually supports quick charge, so that's just AliExpress lying about it, which is not surprising. I mean, yeah, what do you expect? I'll have to get a different one of these, I guess, or make one or something, with a different chip possibly or something if I want to really test this, because again I have no devices that actually use that protocol. But yeah, these little hooky things are quite good. I don't know, it's like $5-6 on AliExpress. They yeah, it's got like soldering tool helper kit or something, I forget the name. Anyway, quite useful. I got a bunch of stuff in there and hopefully that'll be fun. Okay, so it's a little time later, about a week and a half I think. I decided to go ahead and order another what do you call it? USB protocol trigger board thing. This one here didn't come in an anti-static bag for some reason, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, we have the old one here, which I believe only does power delivery, and I ordered this one, which apparently only does quick charge. So this one should actually work with this charger here and prove whether or not this can supply the 9 and the 12 volts that it says it's capable of. Yeah, this one did say it can do quick charge, but looking up that chip, it doesn't appear that it can. It can do maybe some other thing, but not that. So I bought this. instead. So I'll hook that up and we'll see if that works. Kind of annoying they didn't put it in an anti-static bag. I don't know why. Sometimes that's what people on AliExpress do, which is kind of annoying because, I mean, it should be in one really. But yeah, it's different. It has the USB-A connection, which does make more sense given that this only has a USB-A socket. And yeah, it claims to do 5 volts and 9 volts and 12 volts, if you can see that there. I think you can, yes. You can also see this chip has no markings on it whatsoever, and it doesn't have the supplementary chip this one has, which was the CH224K or whatever it was, that does the USB power delivery negotiation. However, this one, I think, the quick charge protocol is a bit different and just uses like different resistors or voltage levels sent down the data lines or something. There might not actually be any sort of communication, or maybe if there is, it's implemented in this chip, which is undoubtedly a microcontroller that's been programmed customly. So yeah, I didn't really look into exactly how the different specs work, but suffice to say they are different, and obviously this one might be more complicated. But anyway, this will hopefully work. We have the same thing, a button, you switch through the different voltages apparently. I have not tested this yet, I haven't even wired it up, so here's my wire from the previous one. I guess I need to put this onto the into the board and solder that on and get it connected up. As annoyingly they don't have a little screw terminal like that one. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Yeah, this was kind of the only one I could find that seemed like it could definitely do quick charge. Yeah, the other ones all spoke about both protocols, but in the end I figured it made sense to get one that only referenced quick charge because it probably will actually work. Again, this is not really necessary, but seems I don't even have a device that uses quick charge. But I just thought, you know, for the interest of finding out what's going on, it would be interesting to know from an academic standpoint or something like that. And also, well, I would kind of like to know if this charger actually works. And I'd like to know if this works, and maybe we'll find out. I don't know. Anyway, so this one is probably useful for something else. I'll keep that. I can keep both of these actually. These will hopefully be good. Now, of course, there is the question of whether or not this positive and negative is actually labelled correctly. Going by the PCB layout, I'd say so, because the negative does connect to the shield of the USB plug and the positive doesn't. So I'd say that's around the right way. You never know with some of these dodgy things. Sometimes it's a good idea to find out. You know, especially before you plug them into your load tester, and then blow it up with reverse voltage or something stupid. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I don't trust everything that comes for a couple of dollars from China. Yeah, it's quite good actually. I basically paid shipping for this. It was about $2.50 I think, and for some reason I had a $2 coupon from AliExpress, so I was able to basically pay nothing for this and only paid like $3.50 for postage. So yeah, it was quite good. It was actually more expensive overall than this one, I think, probably because these are just more common. These might not be as common, but anyway, yeah, let's give it a try. Let's plug this thing in and see what happens. I think I'll plug this into the charger first, and then I'll plug the charger into the mains, just in case. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Right, so let's see what it does. Does it explode? Okay, it says 5 volts on it. I already got... oh, that's right. We need to be able to show this. So we do have 5 volts. on there, the 5 volt light has come on. So if I press the button, it should switch to 9 volts. And it does! Well, there you go, look at that. When you buy the correct thing, it actually works. Surprise, surprise! So yeah, I'm at 9.4, but I suppose that's unloaded, so it's not a surprise. And if I press it again, yeah, we get 12.4. So this thing's supposed to be able to do 12 volts at 1.2 amps. So I guess we'll just give it a look and see if it can do that. I guess this should be able to handle it. The USB port there. Let's see. Yeah, we got 1.2 amps. 12 volts, it's doing it. Yeah, seems to work. I don't know if we go a bit higher, it'll probably shut down. 1.3, 1.4. Imagine it'll overload and shut off. Got 2 amps out of it. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good actually. We're getting 2 amps out of it. It's only rated for like 1.2. I'm not going to push it too hard, I don't want to blow it up, and I don't know if these connectors are rated for more than 2 amps anyway. Well, that's kind of strange because it says 5 volts at 3 amps, so I don't know. Was the USB-A connector ever designed for more than 2 amps? I'm not sure. But yeah, it definitely seems to work. We can take this up to like 2 amps at 5 volts. Seems fine. So yeah, this power supply seems to work at least, which is nice. And now we have a board that works. So yeah, if you do need to test one of these supplies or something like that, this is the board you need to get. Not one of these, because even though it claims to support quick charge, it does not. It only seems to do USB power delivery. And I don't actually have a USB power delivery supply to test this with, so yeah. Anyway, but there we go. So that seems to work. That's nice. I guess I could, do this, load test it for a while and make sure it can actually do what it says it can do continuously, but I'd be kind of surprised if it couldn't. I feel like it's a half decent one, going by the inside and the way it looked. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It's finally proved that it does in fact function. Yeah. You can draw 3 amps at 9 volts. It's only supposed to be rated for 1.6. But yeah, I don't know. It works, and you can overload it, and it still works. So I'd say that's pretty good. I don't know what the quality is, obviously. I haven't got a oscilloscope on it or anything to see what the power is, but I mean the voltage is not moving too much here, or this is a rather slow meter unfortunately, so it's hard to tell, but yeah, I mean it seems okay. It's probably fine. Anyway, that's that. That's how that works. So yeah, a little bit warm there, not surprising, but yeah, so that's good. Now I can go back to looking at this thing and mucking around with the contacts, and hopefully I'll be able to actually fix it. Maybe, because it would be nice to have even just a standard 5 volt one that can do a bunch of things at once. Yeah, I just kind of put this aside and bother about it, but I do suspect that if I get these contacts in the right place, it should start working. But yeah, so that does show that the USB port is wired up correctly, the data lines are fine, everything's good. Always a good idea to give a full test on something like this to make sure it is functional. It would have been easy to not solder that port correctly, say solder the power pins because they were much bigger pads on the PCB, and then maybe get the smaller data pins not soldered correctly or bridged or something to the point where it would only output 5 volts and do nothing else. or if the data lines were shorted, it may even damage the device you plug it into. If there was a, if they were shorted together, I don't know if that would happen or not. But we'll see. We're getting there. We got 1 out of 2 done. Hopefully we can get this working at some point, even if it means buying a travel adapter for it and maybe gluing it on or something. I don't know. Alright, so a little bit of progress on this charger here. I pulled the plug apart again and I found that these springy contacts do actually come out. They're not moulded into this plastic, they're actually just sort of press fit in there, and they just stick in there because they've got spring tension or something. And you can just hook them out with this little hooky tool thing that I was trying to use to bend them back. And yeah, I think I can see the problem. You should be able to see the contacts on the bottom, the ones that go to the actual pins of the plug, the ones that go into the wall socket, these ones here, but the ones at the top that go to the internal contacts of the power supply, or at least to the US plug that flips out, you can see the one on the left is sort of squashed and not the same shape as one on the right, and it's hard to see, but it is slightly shorter. And yeah, so I think that is the problem. This one here has gotten squashed down somehow and sort of bent out of shape, and it just isn't making contact to the metal here. So if I can bend that one that's not in the right shape back to a shape that resembles the other one and then push them back into this, and it might actually work. So yeah, take a bit of fiddling around. The hook was good to try and get it back to a better shape, but yeah, pulling them right out of the housing seemed to be the best option. So maybe I can actually get hold of it, and at least now I can see them side by side, and I actually see the shape profile of the shape and everything, and hopefully correct that. So yeah, I don't know how I can do that. It looks like I may need to use pliers to sort of mess around with it, but yeah, it'll be a bit fiddly. But yeah, just maybe using the pliers to bend it and move it and stuff, and hope it doesn't break while I'm doing that. But yeah, I probably won't be able to show that on camera, but I'll give it a go and see, at least give it a go off camera, and just see if I can get it back into shape that works. And if I can, then great, and if not, well, then I guess not. Okay, I think I might have got it. Let me just bring this up. Oh, I probably don't need to actually, but yeah, I got them back in the thing. I kind of mucked around with it, didn't want to twist it too much. Couldn't get the profile exactly the same, but at least I got it to where the other one was the same height as the other one. So they're both the same height, so they should have the same tension approximately, or at least actually make contact. So if I put this back on the charger here, it is a little stiff to get on, but I mean, I shouldn't need to take it on and off much if I do manage to get this thing working. But yeah, I can test between the pin down the hole and the actual contact, and we do get continuity on both sides. So yeah, it should be okay now. I didn't test this before, unfortunately. I didn't think of it. I didn't think my probes would fit down those holes. Yeah, you can see how the contacts are down inside that hole, so I can probe that and probe the other one. Yeah, it's still kind of bent over a little bit funny, but I think it might actually work now. We do get continuity at least, so yeah, that's a start. Let's see. I'll put this plug back together really quickly. I think that's how it went. Yep, I think so. And yeah, I'll just screw that back together. Right, now let's see. I can probably plug this, well, I can plug this back into here, can't I? Let me get the light back on. Whoops. There we go. Okay, can we see the load tester? Yeah. Can we see the light in the way? Also, yeah. That's pretty much fine. Okay, we can actually use this again, I suppose. Even though this doesn't do quick charge, it doesn't matter. We can still see if it outputs power. So let me just do that. What do I need? Oh yeah, I need my thing, don't I? This extension cable here with a thing on it. There is a blue light inside the ports that we might be able to see anyway. And if I plug it on, I can't see anything. That's a bit odd. What if I plug this in? Does it do anything? We get nothing. Okay, that's a bit strange. There is definitely continuity there, so... or at least I'm pretty sure there is, so I'm not sure what's happened to that. Okay, let's try it with the travel adapter. We know this worked before. Oh no, there's a blue light in there. I don't know if you can see it, but if I plug this in, yeah, we get 5 volts. So yeah, okay, I was thinking do like 2.5 per port, although the voltage is dropping. It's not as powerful as the other one, is it? That seems to be fine, so that kind of proves that this thing just doesn't work, does it? Even though it has continuity between these pins and those, or at least I thought I did, unless it's now doesn't have continuity between the other side. Okay, I'll try one last thing before I give up on it. Let's see. Maybe now I've lost contact to these points here. I don't know. I don't see how that would have happened, but I suppose it's possible. Pull up on these a little bit. See if it does anything. Yeah, this is rather weird. I don't know. There's obviously something in here that's not making a good connection. I just don't know what. Because I'm pretty sure I had continuity between both of those pins when I tried it before, so surely it'll work by now. Possibly. Okay, let's try it. Nope, still doesn't want to work. There is something stupid with that plug. I'm kind of annoyed at this because, like, yeah, it's just like, why doesn't it work? It should work. I don't see why it doesn't. Okay, let's test continuity from the outer pins to the internal part. Can I get my probe in there? Kind of. Okay. Yeah, we got continuity there. Not continuity here? Yeah, now we've lost continuity between the internal connection and that pin there, I think. Okay, so that's the other problem then. Well, let's see if I can fix that. I don't know why they wouldn't design these things the way they do, but apparently they had to make it as complicated as possible. Maybe that'll work. Maybe that was in the wrong place. I mean the other side of the contact that pushes on the contacts inside the other half of the plug, rather than the contacts on the power supply itself. This one does sit up a bit higher than that one. It looks about the same height on that too. Okay. Test number 5000,023. Let's see what happens now. I'm sure this video is like 5 hours long. That's wonderful. Okay. How about now? Nothing. What a joke. Yep, no continuity there. And yet if we go here, we got continuity, so that's the problem. The problem is now internal to this plug and not the connection between here and there. So we've managed to move the problem elsewhere. I think it's misaligned. Like, I think this contact is too far down this way. It should be up that way to actually touch the thing. I don't know. I realise that this is kind of not futile, but mildly insane to be doing this. Yet at the same time, it's kind of like, I gotta get it. I have to make it work. I am consumed by the desire to fix it. Okay. How about now? Still nothing. Come on. What about the other one? Yeah, the other one still works. I think I've moved it forward a little bit, but now it's like too far down again. These things are really fiddly, and the tolerances on it must be really small. I don't know why they've designed it that way. Okay, I just confused myself, I realised. These little contacts on the side that I was playing around with actually don't come anywhere near the metal contacts on this. They're actually totally around the other side. These contacts actually touch to the bottom of the centre contact, the part that I originally bent. The original part that was not connected properly. So yeah, that's really kind of weird. So it looks like I have to work on the other part of the contact again, and that other bit on the side maybe is for a different nationality plug or something. But yeah, it's all about that bit in the centre that's just not flat enough. It's not bent down enough on the other side, so it's like, yeah, it has to come down far enough on one side to actually touch the one contact, and far enough around on the other side to touch the other bit. It's a terrible design. I mean, I'm sure they could have done something better. I don't like it at all. And I don't like my chances of actually getting this back into a shape where it's going to work. I strongly suspect that this might not be possible. Because however they originally bent these, it just, yeah. Seems to be very quite complicated. Yeah, it seems to be rather complicated how these things work, and I don't know how likely it is I can get it to work at all. So yeah, I might just have to give up on it. I really don't know if it will ever function properly. I think that contact is just too far bent out of position. Possibly, I don't really know how I can bend it back to a point where it will touch both sides. At the same time, I think I can probably only get it to touch one or the other, and not both, annoyingly, but I will definitely for sure give it one last try this time. This is my last attempt. If it really doesn't work now, then yeah, I give up. Because yeah, it would not be hard to just get a travel adapter and plug that in. And that would definitely bypass the whole issue with this stupid thing that doesn't work properly. But yes, it may work, it may not. Let's see. Haha! You can't see that. but I can see a little blue light there. Well, there we go. Now that I knew what I was actually supposed to be bending, it looks like I might have succeeded. Let's plug it in again. That's amazing. Well, it was either work or not, I suppose. Yeah, there we go. 5 volts. 5 volts out of that. Now let's do a load test. Bring it up to like 2 amps. Yeah, it drops quite significantly, but yeah, I just want to see if the primary connection can take the load. I mean, obviously I have to load all the ports to. But it is interesting how we get a low voltage, 4.7. It's not really in spec even at 2 amps, and it says it can do 2.5 amps per port. That's what it says on the label here. Single USB output, 2.4 amps max, and it can do 5.4 amps total. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. What's 5.4 divided by 4? Something less than 2. Yeah, 1.35, so it implies that it would be only 1.35 amps per port, and if I actually drop this down to 1.3, you can see that the voltage comes back to 4.9, which is in spec for the USB standard, but however at 2 amps, 2.4 amps, which is what it claims it can do, we're dropped down to 4.67, which is rubbish and out of the USB spec, so that's not actually any good. So I'm thinking this is actually a 1.3 amp per port charger, and if you try to pull more than that, it just goes silly. But yeah, there we go. It looks like I've finally got both of them working. Amazing. This one here is now working, and this one here appears to be working. Whether it stays working, I don't know. Who knows if those contacts are properly connected. It could be that after significant time at a high load, that contact might heat up and bend or cause an issue, arc over, make a carbon deposit and stop working properly. I don't know. But for now it is working. Again, if that happens, if that thing burns out or something or fails again, I'll just get another one of these and stick that on it, because I can't be bothered anymore. I'm done. This thing doesn't even seem that great anyway. It can't hold up its spec that it says on the label, unless the caps are bad, but I mean, they looked fine, although I don't know how much use this has had, but it doesn't look like it's had much, honestly. Like, there's nothing discoloured inside, there's nothing, on the outside to suggest it has had a heavy use. This one, it looks like it had more use, considering how sort of rubbed off and faded the printers. So yeah, I don't know, it's a bit odd, a bit strange to me. I don't know the quality of this. It might not be such good quality, to be honest. But yeah, it does seem to at least function and is probably usable. So it's better than nothing. And yeah, I discovered that you can buy these little hooky tool things off AliExpress. So that's pretty cool. It's got some other stuff in there as well. And again, these claim to be some sort of soldering helper thing, and they show diagrams on the back of the different tools being used on like surface mount component pins and all sorts of things, bending component leads. I don't know what the little wire brushes are for, but yeah, it's quite useful. You can pick these up, like 6-piece soldering toolkit or something. You can search, you find something like that. It's quite good actually. You get these good little hooky things and stuff. I originally thought maybe the dentist picks, sort of, you can get dentist picks online as well on AliExpress. I don't think they'd be medical grade, and I wouldn't want to put them in my mouth. They would, I suppose, want to be like surgical grade stainless steel, but I don't know if I'd trust the ones from AliExpress to actually be that. They could be a mixture of steel and asbestos and radioactive dust. I don't know. I mean, okay, probably not asbestos, but still, I mean, I don't trust that they'd be, yeah. Anyway, but these do seem to be quite good. They just have a bit of profile on them for like hooking stuff and doing electronic stuff. So yeah, I mean, I know some people use the dental picks to do some stuff with that, and I'm sure they do work, but like this particular set seems more purpose built for soldering and stuff, so maybe these are better. I don't know. They certainly seem to be not too bad, so that's a thing. Anyway, this video has probably gone on for far too long at this point, but we have succeeded. We have 2 apparently functioning USB chargers, and that's great. I can finally stop mucking around with these and go and do something else. So yeah, hopefully that was interesting, hopefully that was useful. Hopefully it was overall a positive experience in some way. Anyway, for real, I'll see you next time.